What's up, YouTube? It's Brandon B, aka Blaze here. So for today, I got a haircut. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I think it might be a little messy because it is pretty windy out. I also went to a movie today, and it's time for another movie review. So I saw the movie called Death Wish, which is based off the 1974 movie with Charles Bronson that started a whole type of series. The old movie is with Charles Bronson, like I said, and it takes place, I think, in New York or Chicago. But it's about this guy's wife who dies, and his daughter gets raped and all this hoopla, and like these criminals break into his house and everything. But back in the old days when this movie came around, it was to do with like a group of like just street gangs or a group of teenagers. But they kill his wife, they go after his daughter, so he decides to pick up a gun and become a one-man vigilante and go after the people that did all of these things to his family. So in the old movie, it had Charles Bronson, and he was a contractor. Now, the movie that I saw was The Death Wish that just came out that has Bruce Willis, Mike Epps. It has Vincent D'Onofrio, I can't pronounce his last name, and Dean Norris. Mike Epps is the guy from the movie The Friday series, and All About the Benjamins, and he just plays like a regular doctor in this movie. Dean Norris plays a cop, and he's famous for the show, I think, Under the Dome, and he was also on Breaking Bad as Walter White's, I guess, brother-in-law. But in this one, Bruce Willis picks up the role of Paul Kersey, who Charles Bronson played. So Bruce Willis, his wife dies in this, but his daughter doesn't get raped or anything. She just gets messed up. She's like in a coma in the hospital because they like live in a nice neighborhood, and there's about a group of guys that are like burglars that go and terrorize the rich people in their homes, so they go and rob him. So he decides to basically pick up a gun, become a one-man vigilante, and he goes after the people that killed his wife. So it's pretty much the same storyline, same plot, same everything. The only difference is this was more modernized. It was set in Chicago. He also went after like drug dealers, and he also went after modern-day criminals like they did in the first movie. But everybody's saying that this movie is actually part of the series because it's about what happened if Paul Kersey found a new wife and he had a kid, and this was his kid. But I think it was just another like reboot or remake. And it was directed by Eli Roth, who is famous for The Green Inferno and for the Hostel movies. But I really did like this movie. I actually am going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. The scenery was just modern-day type Chicago. The storyline went really well. It actually kept up with the original movie. So everything was pretty much all the same except for the teenage girl didn't get raped. None of that happened. I actually didn't see any differences besides like Bruce Willis playing a doctor and not a contractor. So they did change a little bit of it. The movie actually did go pretty fast, but it was super long though. It was like I think almost 2 hours, which was pretty good. They kept the storyline the same, except for I don't think in the original Death movie series, Charles Bronson's character Paul had a brother, but in this one, or brother-in-law, but Vincent D'Onofrio in this one plays Paul, like Bruce Willis's character's brother/brother-in-law. So I think that was the only kind of difference that they made. The action was really extreme, really gory, really bloody. It felt like I was watching one of those war movies. And so pretty much everything is the same. Basically, he goes after the people that killed his wife. He gets back all of his possessions. But how he's able to hide it is because he uses his medical things that he knows about from being a doctor to help doctor himself up so he doesn't leave any tracks. He's also more careful because he wears like a hoodie so he doesn't show his face. He also retraces his steps and collects any evidence that won't be used against him. But after the movie, they find out, the police find out that it was him becoming the one-man vigilante that they called the Grim Reaper. But the cops were actually really happy with him because they took out big known crime lords and drug lords. But overall, this movie was really, really good. I was at the edge of my seat. I like this movie so much. I actually talk about this movie every day since I've seen it, because I actually saw it like last night or something. So just one day, but I've been talking to about 100 to 150 people about this movie. This movie was excellent. I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. This movie should win a freaking Oscar. That's how good that this movie was. It did so well. Like this movie. Now I'm gonna have a lot of haters for saying this. But write in the comments but which movie do you guys think was better that everybody's saying is really good? Either Black Panther or Death Wish. Me personally, I like Death Wish a lot better than Black Panther just because it was able to have a lot more action, better story plot, just overall such a really great film. Bruce Willis did really good because before this movie, Bruce Willis was only doing like independent films, just so this was his big lead starring role. So he did really, really, really good. The acting was on point. I didn't see any flaws, and I actually didn't see any flaws in this movie whatsoever. I highly recommend everybody seeing the movie Death Wish, which I give a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but I probably did in this video. Sorry about that. The next movie I'm probably going to go see is either Wrinkle in Time, Tomb Raider, or Ready Player One. It's going to be one of those three. I actually do want to see all three of those, but I highly recommend see Death Wish. You guys will not, you guys will actually like it a lot. I mean, it was such a great film. I'm speechless. But write in the comments on how you guys thought about Death Wish, and if it's really, really good comments, I'm actually going to start doing videos when I'm actually going to be reading your guys' comments to my movie reviews and read what you guys put for what you guys thought about the movies that I review. And then coming up later on in the near future, I'm going to get a P.O. box and start doing fan mail videos. So you guys can send me stuff from like all around the world. I can review it, so on, so on. I'm just going to make a video about the whole details, information about that. But see Death Wish, a great film. I give it 10 out of 10. This movie is going to win an Oscar, I'm sure. And please keep on watching. Please subscribe. Thank you.